Instagram,
TikTok,
Snapchat.
Twitter.
People consume information from these platforms every day.
But have you ever stopped to wonder how they influence our political opinions?
Let's take a closer look.
With the prevalence of social media, our political opinions have never been further divided. The social media algorithms are feeding us content that is tailored to our own preferences. This means that our own political opinions are being heavily influenced by social media.
But what happens when we are constantly bombarded with these forms of information which shapes the way we see the world, especially when it comes to the particular issue of immigration?
Social media plays a major role in influencing how young people perceive these key political issues.
But how much of this is based on the independent views they hold, and how much of it is based on the algorithms which are pushed by social media?
Today we're taking a closer look at how social media influences young people's opinions on immigration, a topic that has sparked intense debate throughout the globe.
To do this, we are here at the University of Essex, where we shall be speaking to our students on the issue of immigration and whether or not they believe that social media has played a role in shaping their perspective on this said issue. Join us as we dive into this topic and hear directly from the young people here at the University of Essex, as they are at the forefront of today's political landscape.
This is Social Media and Immigration, Shaping Young Minds. Stay with us.
What is political polarization?
Political polarization refers to the growing divide between political beliefs where individuals or groups become more ideologically extreme and less willing to engage with opposing viewpoints.
One of the key drivers behind this shift is the role social media plays in shaping our perspectives, with platforms that prioritize algorithms that encourage echo chambers and selective exposure to information. Social media has significantly impacted how we form and reinforce our own political views.
We'll also touch on the influence of social media on our political landscape. The way we interact with news, opinions, and debates online has profound implications not only on our personal beliefs, but also on our society as a whole.
We're interested in seeing if young people's political opinions are being influenced by social media, so we've decided to interview young people across the University of Essex.
Okay, good afternoon. My name's Will. We're on the campus of the University of Essex trying to find out if people's immigration policies and immigration views are determined by their social media. I'm here with Xavier.
Ericsson.
Arif, nice to meet you.
Boyan.
Do you think that social media is determining people's immigration stance and what they think about immigration, or do you think people are using traditional news outlets like newspapers?
No, I would be wary of incorporating ideas from social media into my real life because it might be different to my reality.
Well, it's more for 50-50 kind of thing, because I knew by myself already that immigrants are not always favored when leaving the country to explore.
Why I have to move to UK now, right? I will start to compare what I have in Indonesia, because I'm from Indonesia, and I will compare what some influencers say about the US or maybe Australia or maybe somewhere in Europe.
I think it's been determined by social media. A lot of it was all on pretty much like TikTok, Twitter, Instagram and such. That it definitely is influenced. I myself have quite strong opinion based on my own experience. But you know, social media offers a different perspective which I necessarily didn't think about or everything, if that makes sense.
Do you think social media is good or bad for immigration in terms of misinformation?
I think you have to be very cautious because there are a lot of misinformation out there.
I'd say personally it's quite good because it helps to inform the people and let them know what's happening around them. It tells them what policies are.
There's so many places in the UK as well. So I see it depends on the viewer.
Yeah.
It depends on us as the social media users. Do we see both sides, or I just want to see the negative side?
I think it's a bad thing because I think it could foster some nationalist sentiments, especially if you're older and you don't know how to distinguish fake news from, things that are actually factual.
And just finally, in terms of politics in general and political views, do you think that people are now swaying towards only using social media? So we're seeing less, do you think less people using newspapers, traditional news outlets, that kind of thing?
I feel like social media can go too far on things. A bit too far.
Politics is an upside because you would have different opinions other than the mass media like BBC. So I think that's a positive side of it.
Immigration is one of the most divisive topics on social media, particularly on X, formerly known as Twitter. Political influencers from both left and right-wing ideologies use this platform to shape public opinion in their favor. We are now going to look at some of the ways influencers use this platform to express their views on immigration and the wider effect this has on political polarization. Right-wing influencer Tommy Robinson posted material that depicts immigrants, especially of the Islamic faith, as menaces to society. In 2018, he tweeted a video of an East London confrontation, labeling it, "This is what mass immigration has done to working-class communities across our nation." This kind of anti-immigration rhetoric is also being pushed by Reform Party leader Nigel Farage, who consistently presents immigration as a sovereignty issue, stating, "The small boats crisis is out of control. 42,000 have now come this year illegally into the UK. The government has failed completely." In terms of left-wing ideology, MP Diane Abbott has utilized Twitter to link immigration topics to larger systemic matters. For example, tweeting, "The current rhetoric about migrants crossing the channel has everything to do with politics and nothing to do with actual numbers. Net migration is down. What we are seeing is the weaponization of immigration." This was reported on by several news outlets within the UK. Twitter's algorithm undoubtedly amplifies extreme immigration positions, creating cycles of self-reinforcing outrage. A 2021 Stanford Internet Observatory study analyzed 1.4 million immigration-related tweets, finding that those containing dehumanizing language received 67% more algorithmic amplification than postings using neutral terms. The study's authors concluded, platform mechanics directly contribute to immigration polarization by promoting extremity over nuance.
Social media has completely changed how we engage with political issues. Political influencers, especially on platforms like TikTok and YouTube, are now driving these conversations.
And with topics like immigration, their impact is huge, often polarizing. These influencers push extreme viewpoints, turning complex issues into simple binary choices.
Exactly. Left or right, they frame it as either open borders or strict enforcement. There's rarely any room for nuance.
That's because the algorithms favor content that triggers strong emotions, fear, anger, outrage. And with immigration, that emotional content spreads fast.
And when influencers target these emotions, it traps audiences in echo chambers, reinforcing their own existing beliefs and deepening these divides.
Social media was supposed to democratize information, but instead it often magnifies the extremes, making rational discussion about immigration harder to have.
And as we get more polarized, it's harder to see beyond the manipulation and have meaningful debates.
Social media has emerged as a significant influence in molding public opinion, particularly regarding sensitive issues such as crime and immigration. Nonetheless, the content disseminated on these platforms is not always reliable, often resulting in distorted or partial perspectives. For example, US President Donald Trump shared multiple misleading videos from the far-right group Britain First. These clips, featuring inflammatory headlines such as "Muslim migrant assaults Dutch boy on crutches," were later disproved. The Netherlands embassy clarified that the assailant was in fact a Dutch citizen rather than a migrant. This situation underscores how quickly misinformation can circulate, even at the highest echelons of government. Social media algorithms and user interactions frequently exacerbate these biases, resulting in increased anxiety towards immigrants. In the UK, studies from the Reuters Institution show that only 14% of the prison population in 2022 were foreign nationals. Yet social media often amplifies the false narratives that immigrants are disproportionately responsible for crime. This misinformation spreads quickly, as research from the Reuters Institute further found that 59% of UK adults have encountered false or misleading information about immigration online, and much of it goes unchecked. Take another case of the Southport riots. False claims about immigrants being responsible for a wave of crime spread like wildfire on platforms like Facebook and X. These posts, often shared without verification, fueled fear and anger, leading to violence in multiple communities. The reality? most of these claims were baseless, but the damage was already done. An O'Hara and Stevens study from 2015 indicates that social media creates echo chambers that trigger intense emotions such as disdain, rage, and fear, particularly among users in disadvantaged situations who are more prone to misinformation. These narratives can influence perceptions of immigrants, often creating cognitive dissonance. For instance, assertions regarding elevated crime rates among specific immigrant groups can skew the overall portrayal of immigrants, fostering a divide between good and bad categories, often based on race. As social media stands out as a powerful tool for communication, it is crucial to evaluate the information we consume with a discerning eye. False information can strengthen existing biases and intensify negative perceptions of immigrants, influencing public opinion and legislative decisions.
Our exploration of social media's role in shaping young people's views on immigration has highlighted the significant impact of online platforms in shaping political opinions.
Whether through algorithm-driven echo chambers or political influencers, young minds are being shaped in a way which we must critically examine.
Social media has the power to educate and inform, but it also has the potential to mislead and divide.
As we navigate this new era of digital influence, the challenge remains: how can we ensure balanced, informed discussion rather than deepened divisions?
This is a conversation that needs to continue both online and offline. Being aware of our media consumption habits is the first step towards forming independent and informed opinions.
As social media continues to evolve, it will have a pretty important role in politics. The key is to question, engage, and think critically.
This is Social Media and Immigration, Shaping Young Minds. Thanks for watching.